Well, the online marketplace is always changing, ain't it? New folks are coming up and challenging the big dogs. Over the last few years, two names have become real familiar when you think of affordable fashion: TEMU and SHEIN. These online stores, both with strong ties to China, have really caught on with American shoppers because they got tons of stuff and real low prices. TEMU, now they're known for having just about everything under the sun. From clothes and electronics to stuff for around the house and beauty products, they've become a household name pretty darn quick. SHEIN, they focus more on clothes and accessories, and they've got a loyal following, especially with younger women. These companies have shot up like a rocket, and there's a few reasons why. They work directly with the folks making the stuff so they don't have to go through all the usual middlemen, which keeps prices down. They're also pretty sharp with computers and use data to figure out what's popular and jump on it real quick. Plus, they're real good at using social media to get folks interested and keep them coming back. TEMU and SHEIN are now a regular part of online shopping for millions of Americans. Now, things ain't all sunshine and rainbows for these online shopping giants. The threat of tariffs, which is causing a ruckus between the US and China, is now hanging over TEMU and SHEIN like a bad storm cloud. Tariffs, which are basically taxes on stuff brought in from other countries, could really mess things up for these companies that have been doing so well. Back when Trump was president, he had a big trade war with China. Even though things have calmed down a bit with Biden, it still cast a long shadow, you know. They signed a trade deal back in 2020, but it didn't really fix the problems. Sure, it lowered some taxes on some Chinese goods, but a lot of them stayed put. And now Biden seems pretty okay with using these tariffs to get what he wants, both with money and world politics. So, with all this uncertainty, TEMU and SHEIN are right in the crosshairs. If taxes on Chinese goods go up, it could really hurt their business, because they rely on keeping prices low to get folks to shop with them. Right at the heart of this whole tariff discussion, there's a pretty important rule. It's called the de minimis rule. This here rule exempts low-value imports from tariffs and taxes. Over here in the US, the current limit is $800. This exemption has been a real lifesaver for e-commerce companies like, TEMU and SHEIN. Now critics, they're saying it creates an uneven playing field and makes it easier for counterfeit goods to come in. Plus, they point to the lost income for the US government. This whole de minimis rule debate really shows how complicated international trade can be, don't you know? Well, if tariffs really start messing with TEMU and SHEIN's business, things could go south pretty fast. Price increases, even if they seem kinda small on individual items, could really hurt their edge against the competition. American shoppers, they're used to finding good deals on these apps, might think twice about buying something if the prices get close to what stores around here are charging. That whole appeal of cheap, trendy clothes kinda goes away if the price difference ain't that big anymore. Plus, TEMU and SHEIN's success hasn't gone unnoticed, Other stores, both online and brick and mortar, they've been watching what they do and are catching up. Those fast fashion giants like H&M and Zara, they're putting a lot of money into their websites and making their shipping faster. And Amazon, well, they're the king of online shopping and they just keep getting bigger and better. With all this competition, TEMU and SHEIN can't afford to lose any ground. Keeping their prices low is super important if they want to keep their customers and stay ahead of the game. Section 5. American folks are really starting to feel the squeeze. The potential for price hikes on TEMU and SHEIN, well, it goes way beyond just online shopping, Lots of folks, especially those with tighter budgets, rely on these websites for affordable clothes, things for the house, and other necessities. For families just trying to make ends meet, every penny counts, don't you know? Just a couple extra bucks for a shirt or a toy can really strain those already tight budgets. The impact of rising prices on lower-income households is a well-known problem. When everyday things get more expensive, families gotta make some tough choices. They might cut back on other things like entertainment or eating out. Sometimes they even gotta choose between paying the bills and putting food on the table. Oof. The worry that TEMU and SHEIN's price increases will make these struggles even worse is a real and pressing concern. Section 6. TEMU and SHEIN's ways of dealing with these tariffs. Faced with these possible tariffs, TEMU and SHEIN aren't just sitting idly by. Both companies are looking at ways to soften the blow to their bottom line and keep their stuff affordable for shoppers watching their wallets. One way is spreading out their supply chains. By getting products from countries besides China, they can rely less on one place and maybe dodge some tariffs. Another way is investing in automation and technology. By making their operations slicker and more efficient, they can offset some of the increased costs from tariffs. TEMU and SHEIN are also looking at ways to make their products more appealing than just cheap. This means focusing on good quality, helpful customer service, and a smooth shopping experience. By offering a good mix of value and convenience, they hope to keep their customers coming back even if prices go up a bit. Section 7. The trade war between the US and China, a backdrop of tension, This potential tariff trouble with TEMU and SHEIN, well, it's all happening because of this bigger trade war between the US and China. This here economic squabble, it's been simmering for years, but it really heated up back when Trump was in office. They slapped tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods going back and forth between the two countries. That messed up the global supply chain, made prices go up for folks like us, and well, it made everyone kind of nervous about the whole global economy. Now, Biden's trying to be a bit nicer to China, but he's mostly kept those tariffs Trump put in place. These two big countries are still at odds over a whole bunch of stuff like trade imbalances, intellectual property rights, and how China runs its industries. With all this distrust and competition, TEMU and SHEIN are kind of caught in the crossfire, Their whole business model is about keeping costs low, and since they rely so much on Chinese factories, they're really at the mercy of what politicians on both sides of the Pacific decide to do. Section 8. The future of affordable fashion in the age of tariffs. The possibility of tariffs changing the whole landscape of affordable fashion makes you wonder about the future of online shopping and the global supply chains that make it all tick. If TEMU and SHEIN gotta jack up their prices a whole bunch, will folks stick with them or start looking for other options? Will other Chinese companies face the same kind of pressure, or will they figure out how to roll with the punches? And what's this all mean for American businesses and shoppers trying to navigate a world of rising costs and all this geopolitical uncertainty? The answers to these questions ain't exactly crystal clear. How this whole tariff battle shakes out, the direction of US-China relations, and the ever-changing global economy will all play a part in shaping the future of affordable fashion. One thing's for sure though, the days of easy access to cheap goods from China are coming to a close. Shoppers, businesses, and lawmakers all gotta adjust to this new reality, with its shift in supply chains, higher prices, and a rethinking of the true cost of globalization. Section 9. Conclusion. A new era for cross-border shopping. The rise of TEMU and SHEIN highlights how connected the global economy is, and the challenges of a complicated geopolitical landscape. We've gotten used to a world with lots of choices and low prices. However, this time of globalization without any limits might be coming to an end. Decisions made in Washington and Beijing will shape the future of international trade and the choices shoppers have. Tariffs could really shake up the affordable fashion industry. Protectionist measures, well, they often come with a price. They can lead to higher prices and fewer choices. It's important to look for solutions that encourage fair trade and prosperity for everyone.